You are now listening to Take Two Podcast. All your latest TV and movie reviews, plus your Hollywood news, and of course, our Take Two. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Take Two Podcast. This is episode 224. We're back to a little normalcy right now. It feels weird to be talking to you over the internets, like through our Skype, through our regular system of recording. Tone, I'm Brian. That's Tony. What's up, man?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Thank you, loyal fans, for standing by with us the last couple weeks. It's been a little rough for us. We were still destined to not miss an episode and got all those out to you, maybe a little later than usual, whatnot, and maybe a little less audio quality than usual, but we did it. We kept, our show going for you guys. So thank you for standing by with us. And like you said, hopefully we get a little normalcy back. Maybe it sounds a little better today, I hope. But yeah, as always, we got a pretty packed episode. I think we were thinking we weren't going to have a lot to talk about, but we got some decent stuff for you. So I'm excited to get into it.
3 documentaries headed your way, a foreign film headed your way, a scary movie headed your way, new stuff on Netflix, 2 things there headed your way, and then, technically 4 documentaries.
4 documentaries,
the Tiger Woods thing, I wasn't even thinking. But we do have Tiger, was going to lead things off a little bit later. So we got a lot of stuff that we are going to talk about. Folks, hit us on the socials if you liked our bad audio. We recorded from like a bunker where we had fans blown in faces and all sorts of weird sounds and chairs squeaking and also... Maybe you guys are into that sort of thing. I'm not too sure. I will like to welcome back our listeners. I'm calling it from now on the December dip. I feel maybe all podcasts experience it. People are doing holiday music and what have you. But I was checking the numbers, and a few of you folks are back. So welcome back and welcome new listeners to Take Two Podcasts. We hope you guys do enjoy. You Patreon subscribers, Vaughn, Kevin, Ryan, Lisa Katz, Craig, Roy, and Chris, thank you so much for your contributions. The rest of you guys, if you want to jump on, we give you no less than 2 bonus episodes a month of podcasting, plus some merchandise, some shout-outs, all sorts of fun stuff along the way. We become real-life friends with some of you, if you want. It's as low as $1 a month. Just go to patreon.com, Take Two Podcasts. There's 4 different tier levels on there. Choose whichever you want, and we'll give you a whole bunch of fun stuff there.
Yeah, you forgot to do the Vaughn. Like, he's the one who's the master of all. And I want to throw this challenge out for all the rest of you who are just chilling at $1. We've had some hosts step it up, or some Patreon subscribers step it up. Chris, Shy, Vaughn. These guys have stepped it up their ante, got us to review some stuff, watch some stuff, come on and be guests of the show as well. So I want one of you who have not done it yet to do the same. Step it up, pick something you want us to watch, or come on the show and discuss something with us. It's your time to shine.
Time to shine. I like it. Currently shining inside of your feeds for everybody to listen to is our Take Two Spotlight. Take Two Spotlight, folks, is a bi-weekly show. Tony and I do a little spin-off thing for free. It's in your regular podcasting feeds, breaking down actors, actresses, filmmakers of any kind. And right now we just broke down Glenn Close. Very interesting stuff in there. A lot of stuff I did not know about this lady. She is phenomenal, just off the field and in front of the camera. Go check that out. It's just right now in your Spotlight feed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good one, and we're kind of getting into that Oscar feel. Oscars were bumped back this year to April, but that just gives us more time to breathe, more time to look at some of these people who may be hearing their name called as nominees very soon.
Yeah, and we're rolling almost like an every other, or even more than that, like a lot of ladies lately.
Yes.
We had to stretch there with like all guys, but now we're rocking out some of these amazing actresses out there. So, hey, maybe it'll increase our female listenership.
There you go. And the good thing is, too, the more people we work with at work now, because we're working with even more new people all the time, maybe they're finding out about our show more. So that's good. More listeners. Come on, guys.
We'll take it. Lastly, guys, those socials that you can engage with us upon at Take Two Podcast, that's for Twitter. Take2podcast at gmail.com. That's an email. We've never received one, but you're welcome to send something there. Just send us a nice note, whatever, what have you. 434-602-1931. Text or leave a voicemail. That is always open, always available for you. And then Facebook, Instagram, follow our pages there. If you're on Facebook, we have the regular page, Take Two Podcast. That's your regular page. But then the group page, Take Two Universe. Jump in there. That's more interactive. You can talk amongst yourselves with us. That's more conversationally thing, and it's a lot more fun because we get some like weird combos going there. Join all of it today. We'd love to have you. We'd love to chat Hollywood news, TV reviews, all that stuff. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, and speaking of which, we actually did get a voicemail last week. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it or not, but our buddy Shy reached out, and he was talking about different desserts or whatever. I think because we talked about it for my birthday, maybe. So yeah, he was motivated to call, leave a little voicemail. So please do that, guys. If you're listening to the episode and you feel so inspired by anything we talk about, just dial that number up. Give us a call, leave a voicemail, or like I said, text it, and we'll be glad to play it on here if you want, or if you don't, we'll just talk about it like we are now. But we love that interaction and when you guys reach out to us.
Every Thursday, we put a poll out for you guys to vote upon and discuss. One dropped last Thursday, and I saw that the voting was back. The results, like, there was a lot of I can't say the word.
Interactivity.
A lot of folks voted.
Yeah. Yep.
Tony, let's talk about those poll results.
And now, turn your attention to the podcast for the poll results.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of votes. Not quite as many maybe comments and things like that. I think we got a lot of those last time. A little bit more like alternate choices and things like that. But I basically threw it out like, let's look ahead to February. There's a lot of big movies getting dropped. Like I said, Oscar time is coming. So February has actually been extended for Oscar nominees. Like, that's your cutoff, is by the end of February, you can still be considered a 2020 release for the 2021 Oscars. So some of these movies coming out are going to get under the wire as these, people to be considered or whatever. So I threw out a couple different options. Each one I was trying to focus on different streaming services as well. I don't know if anybody picked up on that, but Malcolm and Marie is the big release coming to Netflix. Cherry coming to Apple Plus. Judas and the Black Messiah is coming to HBO Max as well as theaters. And the United States versus Billie Holiday will be on Hulu. So each of them are giving us kind of like a big Oscar-y maybe type movie for the month of February. And I'm excited to see all of them personally. But the winner of the day was actually Malcolm and Marie on Twitter, getting 40% of the vote. I was a little surprised at that one, and it was in the lead pretty early on and just held the lead. Judas and the Black Messiah came up a little bit. It got up to 32%. So people were kind of gaining interest there. Cherry, 19%, and Billie Holiday only at 8%. Interesting. What did you vote for? I think if I had to vote for one, I would have said Judas and the Black Messiah is probably the one I'm most excited to see. I love the Kaluuya. I love Lakeith Stanfield. I like the storyline that it's focusing on. I think we talked about it when we did the Trial of Chicago 7 review. Like, this is the story I want to hear, and I'm going to get to hear like that, the Black Panther side of that story.
Yeah, I'll be honest, this was one of my tougher choice-making polls that thrown together here, because I was like, I do. But I'm very intrigued at Tom Holland taking over as the King of Hollywood, and I feel this performance might need to be there for him to propel in that direction. Yeah. I'm looking forward to his performance. I've heard not great things about the film itself, but so I voted for Cherry just for that factor. But the other ones, I was like, holy cow, I want to see them just as bad.
Yeah, it's literally all of them. I will say Katz reached out on Instagram. He said that he hasn't actually heard of any of these movies. So that's intriguing. I told him, just keep listening to our show then every week. We will be reviewing them, and then he will know about them, and he'll have to go watch them. We did get a couple other shout-outs on Instagram from Pamela Hubbard, said U.S. Billie Holiday. She can't wait for that one. And then Jess Silly, who I guess is Jilly, also is her name on Instagram. I don't know who that is. But they reached out and said Cherry as well.
Very nice.
So
cool.
Thank you.
Hi, Pam.
Yeah.
Hi, Jilly.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you, as always, for reaching out to vote and comment and share that vote and do all the things.
All right, here's what we're really good at. That's talking about movies, talking about reviews. We're going to lead things off with Taka 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 Woo!
Yeah, we actually had original plans to talk about this last week, but it kind of was ending the night we recorded. We recorded a little early, so we didn't get a chance to kind of catch up on it. Part one was the previous week, and we just decided to wait until we finished the whole thing to talk about it. I got to say, I really enjoyed this documentary quite a bit. Part one, I wasn't as strong on, but part two, I was like, ooh, they're really getting into some down and dirty stuff here. I really enjoyed it. I'm actually surprised that that Tiger didn't try and maybe block some of this stuff from getting out there or whatever. Like, if he was actually cooperating with us or not, because it kind of doesn't make him look great, to be honest. Especially part two. And I kind of remember a lot of this stuff just like in an ancillary, like, oh yeah, this happened, and I remember it being in the news, but I didn't really know all the details of it. So they did get into a little bit more detail that maybe I didn't know. But like I said, especially part two. But I like it. I liked it a lot. It's not quite up there as, Last Dance, like one of the best sports documentaries, not in that realm, but it's definitely like a must watch. If you have any interest in Tiger Woods or the game of golf, whatever, you will enjoy your time with this. And like I said, the two-part split I thought was smart, because the first one was all about setting up like his life with his dad and how his dad influenced him and all those things. And then it kind of led right into part two, where he kind of had a little downfall after his success and the things that went wrong for him. And then also you kind of end on that little bit of, hope where he's making a comeback. So I thought it was a nice arc that they followed with the 2-act structure.
Yeah, you're way higher on it than I was.
Okay.
Or than I am. It was fine. I enjoyed it. You and I are big Tiger Woods fans, so I don't want to be like, well, I already know all this kind of stuff.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe I didn't know all the detail. Maybe you were already privy to that. So.
Yeah. But it did show his rise in part 1 and then his fall in part 2. It was a nice arc, and then it kind of left. It's funny, it left off at the end still mildly incomplete because he's still incomplete. The guy's still playing. He's still playing at a high level. Mm-hmm. So they could almost come back in 10 years and then give us like the third one. And by the way, he did pass Jack's record.
I don't think he will, though.
So, well, no, not the way he played this year for sure. No. But one thing, Rachel Iwatell, why'd you have so much work done?
Yeah.
Holy jumpins, does she not look good?
Rachel Iwatell is right.
Like when she came on, I was like, "That's her." I remember her being like a smoke show. She was fantastic. Like,
yeah, they kind of give you.
If anyone saw her, they'd be like, "Why would he cheat on his wife with that lady?" He didn't. That was not the lady he cheated on his wife with.
Yeah, you had to get the older footage to kind of back that up. But yeah, when they gave her that cliffhanger, that was the end of the first one, right? Where they just kind of brought her in. They're like, "What do you want me to talk about?" And I was like, "Ew, this is the woman he screwed up his life over." Oh.
Right.
Yeah. There was some, like I said, maybe I just wasn't privy to all the details, and that's why it worked for me better. Because I didn't know about like the Perkins waitress. I was like, wait a minute, what? Like he was banging a Perkins waitress, like
in the church parking lot.
And then when they said she had to she took out the tampon or whatever, I was like, oh no,
And then the dude picked it up as evidence. The TMZ guy or the Inquirer.
They put it in their vault or whatever. I was like, oh no. Terrible. So there was just some interesting things in there that maybe I didn't know. Because then I didn't realize that was like basically a blackmail thing too. Where then they were like, well, if we don't break the story, you got to go be on Men's Fitness. Like that was kind of surprising that. So he was trying to like bury some of this stuff and should have known better, man. Should have known better. Not
now everyone on Men's Fitness. I'm like, why did you do Men's Fitness?
Yeah.
Why are you on the cover?
Yeah, exactly. Every cover we got to go through now. And I also didn't know like the in-depth stuff of him training with like the military, that kind of stuff either. I don't remember that stuff.
True.
Being in the news and how kind of gung-ho he was about jumping out of planes and just doing all these like Navy SEAL operations and whatever. That was interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I knew he did it. I didn't know it was that in-depth. Mm-hmm. Like he's in there legit going through scenarios and shooting and all that kind of stuff. I was like, wow, that is, and I almost felt like they could have leaned into the mental aspect of things even more if they wanted to, like how overbearing his father was and the effect it had when then he lost his father, even though their relationship at that time was strained. They could have, if they really wanted to dive even deeper in it, like really drive home. I don't know if they wanted to make, excuse is the wrong word here, but for why he did some of the nonsense he did after his father died.
Yeah.
Like he was just so messed up in the head.
Sure.
But I mean, they chose not to lean that way.
I think it was more just kind of setting the table and saying like, he followed in his dad's footsteps more than anything. Like when you have that family friend or whatever talking about how, he did stuff in front of Tiger too. And he was basically like, I'm sorry, man. Like we created a bad environment for you. You saw this and we were bad role models, me and your dad. That was kind of a touching moment almost. That guy was like almost in tears talking about it and how, he feels some remorse for doing that in front of Tiger. I felt bad for the caddy, like the whole caddy story where he just kind of got thrown aside. Like that sucked. I didn't really know the details on that one and how that went down. And then just like the footage of his arrest in 2017, like talk about fucking bottom of the barrel as down as you can get. Like we're lucky we didn't lose Tiger. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I thought it was pretty compelling. Like you said, maybe if you know his life a little bit more in depth, you won't enjoy it as much. But I thought it was a well done sports doc. I like the setup of it. I like the way it was done. And like you said, we could do a part 3 down the road. So that would be
sorry. So let's wrap on this. You on record right now, he won't pass Jack.
I don't think so. How many more does he need? Like 5?
Yeah, because he just got 13. Jack's at 17. So yeah, right?
Okay, yeah. See, it was something like that. He needs like 5 more. And I'm like, I just don't see it. I don't think he's at that level anymore. I really don't. But at the same time, I also like how the doc showed where he's almost at peace with it. He's at peace with just like being where he is. And, before I think he was almost over competitive to the point where he was sacrificing his body and the broken leg and the back and all this, and he's going through all this pain, but now he just seems like more at peace with it and just having fun. We just saw him with his son out on the course. Like that's where he needs to be, and I'm glad that he's at that point in his career. He's just enjoying playing golf.
Maybe that's a reason golf, like you started off with, that so much of this was allowed to be put out there, whether he had influence or not. maybe he could be more okay with it in setting the example the other way, like where his son's obviously going to find out about this if he doesn't know already about this stuff.
So he's trying to own the narrative, basically, right?
Don't mess up, don't do this, focus, all that kind of stuff. But this is where you can go sour or whatever. So,
yeah, because I felt like there was no interviews for this from him, right? They just used stock bits of interviews from other things. Like the only time you saw him in an interview was from something else. He wasn't actually invited to talk about it. It was family, friends, and things like that. Like I said, I kind of feel for some of those people where it's just like that one girl was like, I've known him my whole life and we were boyfriend, girlfriend. And then now I just don't hear from him. Like, like, I wonder if he watches this and he'll be like, man, I did do these people dirty, or like the caddy or whatever. Like, I'd like to see that story of redemption where they like make up.
Check it out, folks. You can watch it now on HBO. It's available.
HBO.
All right,
Max,
brother. What'd you watch? You watched something scary, so obviously I did not even come close to it. Tell me about this. But hold on.
Okay, so this is one
I saw.
Sure.
Tony was telling a friend of ours, a very good friend of ours, about this, and he was like, "This moment I saw the poster for this, I was like, yep, 100%, folks. If you could have seen Tony's eyes Christmas morning light up to watch this, like knowing what you were gonna watch, I wish I had taken a picture just to post on how happy you get watching these types of films."
Well, it made me happy to see someone else be like, yes, I want to see that as well. And that's part of why we do the show, right? I want to tell people about stuff that I've seen so then they can talk about it or enjoy it and get back to me. Like, that's what I love. I love discussing movies with people. Yeah. So, yeah, I was very happy to see this. This actually was premiered back in October of 2020. They do these little, what is it? It's called like Monster Fest or one of these, it was supposed to be at actually South by Southwest. South by Southwest got canceled. So it's been kicking around all 2020. And then I know a friend who saw it back in the fall at one of these other little film fest things. And they were like, man, it was crazy. It was fun, whatever. So I've been waiting on it. I've been waiting to see this movie. And one, like you said, the poster's great. The trailer's great. I just was all about it. So it did not let me down. This is Psycho Gorman. And this is written and directed by Steven Kostanski. It's just a lot of fun, man. He's a Canadian director. I don't think I've seen him really do anything else. Let me look real quick because I don't know. I don't think I know anything else he's done. So, like I said, once I saw the poster, the trailer, I was like, this looks crazy fun. It's like a sci-fi horror movie. So basically the premise of it is these kids like dig up this thing in this backyard, and it's this creature from another world that's been buried in their backyard, and they awaken him. But at the same time, they also take control of him because when they're the ones who freed him, they have the power. There was like this gem on the top of where he was buried, and when they hold it, they're in control of him. So he can't hurt them, but then he is this crazy killer character. And I just liked it for the practical effects were really good. The costuming was really good. There's some crazy kills. It's got like a weirdness to the script and some of the performances, but it's kind of funny. It's like a dry humor. There's a great kid performance in here though too. Again, I say it every week. If you don't have a good kid performance, your movie doesn't work. So this girl, Nita Josie Hannah, I don't know. Okay. I've never seen her in anything else, but she's like the star of the movie, Mimi, and she controls the guy. And she's the one who comes up with the name, Psycho Gorman. And then throughout the movie, she's like PG for short. That's what she tells people. But it's just a fun movie. There's a kid that gets turned into like a walking brain. Like there's just all sorts of weird shit that goes on in this movie. And I loved it. I had fun with it. There's a music montage to a song that she wrote in the movie, this kid. And she's singing Frig Off. Frig Off is like the chorus of the song. It's great. So I just had fun with it. It's silly. It's horror, but it's just like over the top gore and more funny than anything. So yeah, check it out if you get a chance. Psycho Gorman. Now, I think it's actually showing in theaters as well because a friend of mine went to see it at the Alamo, but I was able to get it on demand. So it's like one of those same time kind of things. But yeah, check out Psycho Gorman, PG for sure.
Groovy. Something you can check out right now is on Netflix, and that is Outside the Wire.
Ooh, okay. So I'm surprised because I think we talked about this before, and we were both kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch it, and I passed on it. But I'm glad that you checked it out,
folks. This is going to be a quick review because I will be 100% honest with you up front. I dozed off in the middle of it, then kept watching, didn't miss a step, and I was like, all right, that's good. So that alone could be my review. That I was able to kind of fall asleep and then come back to it and then watch the ending, and then I didn't bother rewinding. Sure. This is Anthony Mackie. He's kind of the lead here. Kind of the lead. They told you on the trailer that he was the lead, but more so Damson probably Idris.
Damson Idris, yeah. He's great. I love him. So.
He's good in this as well. He's a drone flyer. I don't know their specific name. But one of the guys...
Drone pilot, maybe?
Yeah, one of the guys in the Army or military, or Air Force maybe more so, that does the drones. Makes a bad choice, disobeys a direct order, so they reassign him to some middle-of-the-world section, kind of like a slap on the wrist. Like, you're still a good pilot, but we're going to put you over here. One of those types of stories. He gets linked up with Anthony Mackie's character, and Anthony Mackie is a hybrid synthetic robot/person. And this is like a prototype where he's kind of like Vision, if you will. Like, he's partially a person, but he's also partially a robot, partially kind of has that going for him. But he's closer to human side because, like, he can feel pain and he can get injured and stuff, but then he can just take with that type of a robot. This is futuristic. They do have the robot dogs from Black Mirror. Remember that one Black Mirror episode?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they're in it. Not a lot, but they're just kind of like walking around, which then creeped me out because of that Black Mirror episode.
Sure.
Basic premise. They find a guy who's about to take over the world. They want to go stop the guy. He's got his hands on some nukes. Go stop the guy who's got some nukes, so then they don't listen to their commanding officers to go and stop it. That's your storyline. You've watched this 100 times. Anthony Mackie's good. He's fine. There's a little twists and turns in there that we find out by the end that you're kind of like, oh, all right, didn't see that. Did see that kind of coming, what have you. Again, I dozed off for like 15 minutes in the middle and then was able to still keep on rocking and rolling. Acting performances across the board are totally cool. Here's the fun part. I'm going to talk about this again a little bit later. I have just jumped on. You have championed this for a couple of weeks, watching Netflix at 1 1/4 speed.
Yes, or even 1.5 for some things.
Sure. It helped. It kind of helped get through this just under 2-hour film or whatever, because a lot of it is military fights, explosions or whatever that we've all kind of seen. Nothing grandiose. There are some cool fight scenes with some knives and stuff that is fun. But other than that, if you have any interest at all, the reason I watched, buddy, was friends of ours loading snacks. Raved.
Loved it.
Raved.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. A coworker of ours also was like, yeah, I really liked it. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll check it out. But I don't know, man. It didn't look great to me. And I think maybe that's also because I was a little tepid on Extraction, Old Guard. Like, this looked like the same kind of thing as those. Like, every couple months, Netflix is going to trot out, 600 Ground, one of these just kind of big budget action-y movies with not a lot of substance. And that's just kind of what this looked like.
Folks, if you have any interest or if you like Anthony Mackie, he has a few topless scenes, ladies, if you want to watch that.
Oh.
It's on the Netflix now.
What about men?
Well, sure.
Like the hunky
forgive
boys.
me, yes. Any gentlemen that want to see him without a shirt on as well. That is valid.
The hunky boys, baby. That's actually part of Psycho Gorman. That's where I got that from. There's a part in the movie where the character sees a magazine and she's like, do you like hunky boys? He's like, no. And then he's like, wait a minute. Maybe I do like hunky boys. But yeah, so that's actually funny though. The speeded up Netflix thing. I was just talking about it this week with Vaughn, and he said the same thing. Where all you're missing is like pauses and dialogue, things like that. Like, we get it. We don't need that. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of takes that little air out, and I like that. So, because I remember us discussing it when Netflix first did it, and we were kind of both a little bit like against it. Like, this isn't what the filmmaker intended, kind of angle. But
true.
Screw that pretentiousness. I enjoy it if it saves me time.
You've never been called pretentious before in your life, have you?
Probably. I mean, if anybody listens to me on here sometimes.
1,000%. I've seen it to your face. Anyway, by former hosts of ours.
That I'm pretentious? Oh, okay.
Former hosts of ours.
I own it. I'll own it. That's fine. I'll own it.
No, anyway. Well, I will say this. Pick the film. This action movie, no substance to it, 100%.
Sure.
Watch it at a 1.5. Now, if you're going to go watch some period piece drama where maybe we need to, for the performances and whatever.
Sure.
You need to.
Or like a second time watch. Maybe something you've already seen.
Sure.
Whatever.
Sure.
Because I was thinking like maybe Irishman, where it's like, this is a long ass movie. Maybe I can speed it up and get through it. I know I've already seen it. I already know the beats. Something like that. Or I told you I watched Swear Words this way. Or I've watched some other like shorter documentary type things. Like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't need the dramatic quality of the performances to get through. I just want the information dumped at me. I think Night Stalker, I even did like a little 1 1/4 or whatever. So yeah, if it's something like that and it helps, I highly prefer it. And I told you I was looking for it on other services as well. I watched something on Amazon. And I was like, damn it, where's the speed up?
There's one more reason to watch it in speed up, but I'm going to save that because my next review later on in the show, I watched in the speed up, and I will give you that reasoning why when we get there. But first, we have a couple of documentaries that you watch. You watched 3 other documentaries, and we're going to throw them all in order here. Tell me about these docs, brother.
Yeah, documentary breakdown. This is like my true crime corner. So there was one movie that I saw. A friend of mine saw it in the theater a couple months back. Got a limited release, and it is called Feels Good Man. And after he saw it, I think this was like August, September-ish, like in the fall. It was in my mind. Like I just wanted to check it out. It sounded kind of interesting and fun. This actually premiered back at Sundance last year, 2020. So it's been kicking around all year, Sundance, a little limited review release, all that stuff. So finally I was able to get it at home. And I really liked this movie. I thought it was really intriguing. So the basis of this is this artist, Matt Fury, is the creator of Pepe the Frog. Do you know who Pepe the Frog is?
I have a feeling as soon as you tell me, I'm going to realize.
Well, you'll probably know him if you saw him. It's one of those things.
Sure.
He's been memeified and used in memes forever for the last like 10 years. So it's basically this kind of sad looking frog, green face, almost like looks kind of like a poorly drawn Kermit to a way.
Uh-huh.
You'd probably know him if you saw him. So
yeah.
Basically the idea of the movie is that this guy started off drawing, Pepe the Frog. It was his comic he created. He put it on MySpace back in 2007 as part of his ongoing artwork. And he made like kids books, all sorts of stuff that he was involved in. He's just an internet artist. As the years went on, Pepe the Frog was kind of taken by this like underground of people like 4chan and things like that, and they made it into basically a white supremacist symbol. So now all the memes that are used of this character are basically involved with like alt-right, white supremacist movement leading up to the 2016 election and how it got involved and tied into like the Trump election and all this stuff. People were using it online to do that, and it actually started with like 2014. There was a California shooting where the guy was like posting online using this character. So the movie is about his struggle to basically get his character back and like, what is your right to this character that you drew and put online? You know what I mean? And things like that. And it just kind of snowballed into something completely different that wasn't its original intention. So very intriguing, I thought. I guess you don't think about things like this, especially when it comes to the meme world and how all that stuff gets played into the news. Because I don't know if you remember, what was that guy's name? Richard Spencer or whatever, right before the 2016 election. He was kind of like a big deal in the alt-right movement. And he even said something about Pepe the Frog in like a news conference. And then there was a speech Hillary Clinton was giving during the election run-up where someone in the background yelled Pepe, and it was on the news. It was like a big thing. So this group just like took over this guy's character and made him into this like white supremacist thing. It's just very weird to follow the trajectory of it. And this guy kind of got down on his luck about it. Like he was sad. He was going through like depression bouts, didn't really know what to do about it. He finally kind of hooked up with these group of lawyers who are now trying to go out and sue to stop the use and, use it as like a copyright type thing. So he actually went into a lawsuit against Alex Jones from, InfoWars or whatever, that idiot, for like spreading misinformation because he was trying to sell a poster that had Pepe the Frog with Trump. And like, he's like, no, I'm not being associated with this stuff, like all that, Steve Bannon had like posted stuff about this Pepe the Frog. Like it was really out there in like the Trump campaign, the alt-right stuff, whatever. So, I don't know. I really felt for the guy, but near the end, they kind of give you a little bit of hope. Like maybe he's starting to get it turned around because he even launched a movement himself called #SavePepe, where they've been trying to spread new artwork of it, like focusing on peace and love and things like that again, and trying to take back the narrative. Because they show the one part he goes to like a storage locker, and they were just about to launch like official merchandise. So he had like 45 grand worth of official merchandise, like shirts and things like that. But then they just felt like they couldn't sell it because it got involved in this movement. So he's basically out all that money. So I don't know, just kind of crazy and good to see that he's able to get it back a little bit, because then most recently they said the Hong Kong kind of pro-democracy protests, the kids over there have actually started to use it as a sign of hope. And now it's kind of went the other way. So just like a very cool story where you had a nice arc to it, and totally something I wouldn't have paid attention to, this character from a meme,
Sure.
Because the idea of it feels good, man, where that comes from is the first time he drew the character was he was peeing in a bathroom with his pants down around his ankles. Like, have you ever seen anybody with their pants and underwear around the ankles?
Not over the edge of 5.
No, exactly. But so that's the cartoon, is him doing that. And someone asks him why, and he said, "Feels good, man." Like, that's where that came from. So it's just like a crazy story about this internet meme that went all over the world and took on different lives. And I found it very fascinating. So just wanted to pass that on and check it out. And I was just really in a mood for documentaries and things like that more than anything this week. I couldn't really get into watching anything like narrative based. I was just in that mindset where that's really all I wanted to watch. So the other things I got into this week were also.
Let me ask before you move on there. I assume you would want to include this in our show art, and folks, you're listening. You've already seen our show art. Are we worried that we should not include it in our show art?
No. Like I said, it's being taken back. It's and I'm not gonna and I'm not just gonna put the Trump version of Pepe the Frog out there. I'm gonna put the poster for the movie. So
we are the hope version of Pepe the Frog.
That's
the side that we sign with. Okay, got it.
All right. So 2 other documentaries I was also inspired to watch this week. One of them is MLK/FBI, and this is a new release. I figured what a great week. It had actually been at some film festivals and whatnot earlier this year, because I almost watched it for the Middleburg Film Festival. It was showing there a couple months ago, and we were able to see one night in Miami. So this is now available to watch at home as of January 15th. And perfect week to watch it, right? Martin Luther King Day, all that stuff. This really gets in depth about the wiretapping and things like that went on with the FBI from the late 50s into mid 60s of Martin Luther King. They were trying to at first say that he had ties to communism and things like that. And as they were wiretapping him and trying to record his movements and see who he was meeting with, all that, they found out about his infidelity. And then that was where they snowballed into like recording him numerous times in different hotels and things like that. And they had all these recordings, and that was what they were going to try to like smear his reputation in the public, was how he was sleeping around on his wife. So kind of crazy though, like showing the different ways that they did these physical surveillance and bugging hotel rooms. Like they would go to the hotels and find out where he was going to be. They showed actually the Willard in DC, like in particular, they go through like how they went and bugged his room there. And like I said, they'd have agents in the next room listening and using the equipment to hear him and all that stuff. They sent the recordings, or not the recordings, a letter about the recordings to his wife to try and like get her to leave him. They sent something to him urging him to kill himself, because saying that they knew they had this information. So there was all this stuff that came out, and the recordings themselves are going to be available to the public in 2027. So this is kind of like looking ahead of like what this will do to his legacy, I guess. But also at the same time, like we were talking with Tiger, maybe this is like owning the narrative a little bit, getting this information out there and be like, it didn't change who he was. It still kept him going. He still did the right thing and worked for civil rights. Like, I think the one person in there said you can't judge someone on their worst day for their whole body of work. You know what I mean? So yes, they had this flaw. Nobody's perfect, but it was still a great person. You know what I'm saying? So I found it pretty fascinating though, because I had heard things about that, him being involved with infidelity and all that, but I didn't realize there was so much. Like they actually had documents and things like that, and supposedly there's recordings, all that stuff out there. So wow. It is interesting, and they get into all the details of it and what may be still to come. So yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, Martin Luther King Day is always one of those days every year where I really do want to pay reverence to the man. I think he is one of the best human beings to ever live, and I sit and talk with the kids about him. We actually have been to Memphis before and toured the Lorraine Motel where he was killed. So like, I've always had an affinity for the man, and like I said, I still respect him, even though this stuff's out there and whatever. I also think it's kind of shitty that our government did this, and went after this guy and tried to stop him in that way. And we saw a rash of these political kind of assassinations, if you will, during that time. So it's sad. It's sad. And they get into it. They get into Hoover and, the way he used FBI at that time. And they even talked about it. If you were in the public at that time, Hoover was the one who was more accepted and more beloved than Martin Luther King was, at least overall for the whole country. So a lot of people were just into the tactics he was using, and I'm glad that things have changed since then, that we're maybe we're not doing this, maybe we still are, and we just don't know about it yet, So yeah, that's cool. That's out there if you want to check it out. MLK FBI. And
I can tell you, I feel like I owe the guy an apology. I'm the same. We're in the same boat. We're same brain on that, and the reverence on his day. And I have a book of just his quotes. One of those smaller little coffee table books, just filled with his quotes. That every now and then I'll just, as I'm passing by, just flip to a random one and read whatever. And you and I had such a last couple of 3 weeks that I kind of forgot that MLK Day, and then I saw people posting on the internet, MLK stuff, and I was like, why are, fudge me,
yeah,
like, and I felt horrible. I was like, crap, this is usually the time I like to sit with the kids too, but yeah, that's cool. I want to check it
definitely do. It was worth your time. And then the last documentary I want to talk about is 76 Days, and this is another one that was out earlier this year in the film festivals. I think same thing, Middleburg. If I would have had time, they had it. So the reason I was able to fall on this one is this was the 1 year anniversary of the first documented case in Wuhan, was on January 23rd. So on January 23rd, they put this documentary out for free for anybody to watch it. So I was able to check it out online that day as they had the free viewing. And this is, that's what it is. This movie is the lockdown in Wuhan. It starts January 23rd. You're inside a hospital working with the frontline workers from January through April, and just seeing all the different cases and how crazy it was dealing with this thing. So it's actually produced by MTV Films, which I was surprised to see because it's a pretty serious, heavy kind of subject matter. And, I could see this being up for one of the best documentaries of the year come Oscar time. I don't know if it will get nominated. Definitely won't win, but it might get up there. It's a pretty good look at what went on in China. So it is subtitled. It's all in Mandarin. But yeah, just seeing the inside thing, it was kind of crazy. It was kind of tense at moments. You see the very beginning, people were almost like fighting to get in the hospital, because so many people were sick and just needed care. But I will say, I feel like they took it so much more serious than we even still have to this day. Like this first initial lockdown, I mean, every single person in that hospital was head to toe PPE, like locked into their suits tightly, from the get-go. And then they were showing like how tightly they were restricting movement inside there. People were being sprayed with disinfectant, like in and out of these rooms and things like that. Like they took it super serious and really got a hold on it pretty quickly. So I will give them their credit there. And it shows you that in this movie. Wow. So there's some pretty striking imagery, showing some of the city being on lockdown. It's very empty. And then you just see like the only things moving on the street are ambulances or things like that. There's a scene where you just see the nurses were collecting the belongings of the people who passed in the initial wave. And they just had bins of like plastic bags with people's phones in them, and the phones were ringing, like people trying to get a hold of their family, things like that. Yeah.
What?
So there are some crazy things like that. I will say it's not overall just doom and gloom, the whole thing. There are some people that they focus on, certain patients that they focus on that you see a little bit happier arc for him. The one guy's in there for quite a while, but then at the end he recovers, he gets out of the hospital. Another couple comes in, the wife is with COVID while she's having a baby. They have to have a C-section. They were able to save both of them though. So there's some positive and uplifting things that do come out of it. And then lastly, once the movie kind of ends and you get to see where the lockdown is finally about to lift up and they're able to breathe a little bit, maybe where the cases have slowed down, the one nurse goes and goes back to that pile of phones and belongings. And now she's trying to make contact with the families and get their things back to them. So it was a really moving documentary, I thought, overall, and a very timely look at what we've all been dealing with. So check out 76 Days if you get a chance, about the Wuhan lockdown of COVID. Yeah, so that was it. I was in a very documentary mood this week.
I was not. I was in the exact opposite. I was in the turn off your brain and just kind of be entertained mood, hence the Outside the Wire, and hence this other TV show called Lupin.
See, you're going to say it's turn off your brain? See, I had one episode of this downloaded, and I just never pushed play because I'd heard a few people say it was really good.
It is really good.
So tell me about Lupin.
Yeah, it is really good. Okay, so this was a French production, and then they voice over dub over top of them speaking French.
Oh, okay.
This is where watching at 1 1/4 really helps. Because I know that can turn people off where you're seeing their mouth move, and obviously they're not the same words are coming out of their mouth. So it throws people off and turns people off, rightfully so. People are like, no thanks.
Now, did they have the subtitled version instead though?
There is a subtitles. There is subtitle version where you just, at least you're seeing the words that you're hearing. But it helped kind of smooth that over for me, where it wasn't as noticeable, where their mouths were moving the wrong sounds coming out type thing. Watching it in the 1 1/4, I was like, this is great. I love this service. I could watch more foreign stuff. This is fantastic. Omar Sy is your lead here. You guys know him from X-Men Jurassic World probably. This is based on Arsène Lupin, as the French pronounce it. They have that high I, as they were saying it on the show, if you will. a fictional character who is a master of disguise and a thief and can get in and out of any situation. And to be honest, I don't want to say a whole lot here because of that factor. He disguises himself and he gets in and out of things, and it would give away certain scenarios where the guy gets himself into. There is a necklace that was taken when he was a child, and his father worked for this very wealthy family. And some bad things happen to his father. He gets framed, and now as a grown man, he wants to avenge his father. And Hassan Diop is actually the character name that Omar is playing. Excuse me. So that's kind of where he goes through. He's figuring out a way to get back at this family, figuring out there's more to it, figuring out that there's more to his father's death that he even realized in the very beginning. And then he uses his artistry, his master of disguise, to get the information that he needs. And there's some fun thievery type things, some heists and fun car chases and intriguing stuff. It's very quick. It's 5 eps. Each one's only like 40 minutes. They're not bad. I enjoyed it. Overall, it's not, the greatest thing that you'll ever watch, but it was fine. It was fun. If you want to sit here and nitpick plot holes like, well, he never would have made it into that museum in the first place, calm down. Just have fun. That's the turn off your brain and just be entertained section that I allude to.
Okay. So is it similar to something like, I don't know, Mission Impossible, like, where they're doing these different things, like you said, like kind of he's getting in disguises and stuff? Is that what you said?
Yeah, not like face things, but like,
Okay.
hat and jacket, and then all of a sudden he turns the corner and now he's wearing a sweater and a sweat, like he's
like
real
Ocean's movie, something like that.
Very similar to Ocean's, that kind of stuff, yeah. But then they add a little depth to it. The weirdest part for me, his relationship with his ex, I don't know, like, he has a teenage son himself, or preteen son, with this other lady. But they don't, you wouldn't tell that they're not together. It's kind of like a weird dynamic, and you have to watch. But, but yeah, if you do get around to getting some time, I do recommend checking it out.
Yeah, like I said, I downloaded the first app and just haven't pressed play. I think I kind of figured I'd push it and then be like, maybe we'll watch it and talk about it next week. But I'm glad you got a chance to watch it and knocked it out. And then maybe I will also catch up with it at some point and chit chat with you because it looked good. And I heard a few people say it was good. So
I was in France for that film. Where did you go for your next film?
So I went down to Brazil for Bacurau. And this is my foreign film review for the week. If you guys know me, I love the docs. I love the foreign films. I love the horror stuff. So this week was totally comfort for me. This is where I love to be when I watch stuff. So Bacurau actually came out in 2019. And this... Where did it debuted at Cannes in 2019. And then it really never got a U.S. release until earlier this year, early 2020. So I'd heard about it, and I remember it actually at last year's Oscars, Brazil did not submit it as their international film nominee. They chose another film, and I know a lot of people were like, no, Bacurau was great, it should have been up. And then throughout this year, I've heard numerous reviewers talk about it still, and I saw people with it on their best of 2020 list for this year. Speaking of who, Barack Obama had it on his best movies of 2020 list. So I was like, wait a minute, if he likes it, I want to check it out. So had to check out Bacurau, which is actually Portuguese. Brazil speaks Portuguese. It's marketed as a weird Western, which I didn't know that was like its own genre in and of itself. But it is very much almost like a horror movie. It is a hard R, gory, kind of brutal movie. And maybe that's why it did not get submitted for international feature, I'm guessing. But it's a pretty brilliant movie, to be honest. And I really enjoyed my time with it. It starts out with like this weird scene of... there's a lot of like, you don't know what's going on. I'd say the first half hour ish of the movie, you really have no clue what's going on here. You're seeing caskets on the road where this truck is driving, and you're like, why are there just caskets on the road? Who knows what's going on with that? You go to this town where this old woman has died. They're having a funeral, and then just weird stuff starts to happen in the city. Like they start to find out that their town is not on the map anymore. When they pull up to look up stuff, their town is not on the map. They stop getting reception on their phones. There's all of a sudden this mayor is coming to visit. The mayor is coming to visit town, and he's being followed by what looks like a spaceship.
Okay.
But it's actually like a drone that looks like a small spaceship or whatever. So there's all sorts of kind of weird stuff going on, and you're like, what is up with this movie? And then about halfway through, you meet Udo Kier, who I don't know if you recognize the name or not. He's like a famous German actor. You'd probably recognize him if you saw him. He popped up.
Gotcha.
Like I want to say he was in like Armageddon. He was in a lot of stuff in like the 90s, Blade, things like that. You'd recognize him if you saw him. But he pops up, and there's this whole new group of people that we meet that are all speaking English. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And basically they're paying big money or being paid by someone to go and like hunt this town. Like basically they have set off a way to like erase this town from existence, and now they're going to go in and just hunt the people. So it kind of takes like a narrative shift there in the middle. And there's a lot of like weird things that continue to happen with that. And then I don't want to explain what happens in the end. There's kind of a big like shootout kind of sequence where they do kind of lay siege on this town, and what happens with the townspeople as they try to defend their own town. Very cool. There's some definite like John Carpenter vibes. I feel like that's why I think I enjoyed this so much. It reminded me of something he may have done, almost similar to like The Thing or something like that. I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. I want everyone to check this movie out. I don't know why I didn't see it when it originally came around, but now that I have, I'm going to highly champion it and tell everyone to watch it. So check out Bacurau, now available at home, everywhere. Please watch it.
There you go, folks. 8 reviews for you. We hope you enjoyed them. Hit us up on the socials. Let us know your thoughts if you have seen those films and docs and shows and what have you. And let us know what you think. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. All right, Superhero Secret Cinema. I went for some serious synergy this Saturday night. That was a lot of S's. And, that was kind of the hint. And the kicker is it's a hint. Usually the hints I try and go for with the synergy are for listeners of the show. So if on Saturday you knew who we had coming out on Sunday's Spotlight, that would have kind of helped you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you have to pay attention to what we're talking about here.
Yeah, maybe we were a little ahead of the game there by putting it out Saturday and the new episode hadn't dropped yet.
Yeah, we'll see. I was like, we're ahead of everything. We're asking people what they want in February. Still got 10 days to go there, so we can do this early. All right. Thaddeus Ross, Nova Prime, Grandmaster. Jonathan Kent. That was the tricky part that I threw in there because Kevin Costner is only briefly in the movie The Big Chill. That was your answer. Not a lot of response this week. I don't know if a few folks maybe just didn't get it or weren't on there. Craig jumped in there. He was one of our first ones. Bart got in there. He was appreciative of the Kevin Costner notice as well. But every Saturday night, guys, Superhero Secret Cinema. That's your spot.
I think Katz tried but couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
he kind of left us hanging like, oh, I don't know who that is. Okay, and then never got back to it. So
I actually watched Craig figure it out.
Oh, really? That's fun.
I literally was watching him, and you could see the wheel turning. And then he was like, all right, I need some help. So then he went to the internet, got a mild dose of help, and then immediately got it once he got that little note. So it was kind of like fun to watch it all go down. All right, jump on some trailer talk.
Well, I was wondering what movies are coming out soon. Oh, look, a new trailer. Talking trailers with
trailers
talk.
For this week. Not super busy, but I threw a couple your way. I'll start off with the smaller ones and we'll work our way up. How about that? What did you think about I Care a Lot? This one actually dropped, I think, the same day we were recording last week or like the day after, so we didn't talk about it. So it has been out there for about a week now, but I think the trailer looks fantastic. What about you?
I'm all about it. I care a lot about seeing this film.
Yes, Rosamund Pike, man. I've been a champion of hers for a while. I think, I'm wondering if this is going to maybe sneak in some kind of Oscar-y talk because they're getting it out just in time.
Yeah, February 19th. 100%. I'm with you. I agree. Peter Dinklage looks like a little badass on this.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love Isa Gonzalez. I love Chris Messina, Diane Wiest. Diane Wiest looks like she's having a lot of fun, actually. So I'm really excited for this movie. I hope it doesn't let me down.
I just said little badass with Dinklage. I did not mean it. I did not. I swear to you, I did not mean it in that capacity.
That's hilarious.
Jesus. I just realized that. I did not mean it that route. All right, what's the next trailer before I get in trouble?
Yep, number 2 out of the 3 was Boss Level, and this is directed by Joe Carnahan, starring Frank Grillo and Mel Gibson. Naomi Watts is in there, Michelle Yeoh. What do you think about this?
It looks like I'm going to turn my brain off and have a lot of fun with it. You know, kind of Groundhog Day type thing, but with murder and killing people and Palm Springs-y, like that kind of. We're going the next level. Like, we keep taking that premise and just keep upping it and upping it. And this is all about it. Gibson's going to be playing kind of a boss, a bad guy. I'm in.
Yeah. I think this looks better than I expected. I remember reading about this, or maybe we talked about it on the show when this was first cast. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I think it looks good, man. And this is coming to Hulu March 5th. So I'm excited. Like we said, the last one was February. I think we didn't mention that's coming to Netflix. So we got some other stuff to look forward to coming up.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned Hulu. I didn't see that it was for Hulu also. I just had theaters. So that's good. Nice.
Yeah. All right. And then lastly, of course, we got to talk about the big trailer of the week. Literally, the biggest trailer probably ever released is Godzilla vs. Kong.
Bring it. I'm in.
Yeah, right? I think...
Look great.
There were a couple scenes where I was like, oh, man. Like, you know, we had already gotten the tease of Kong punching Godzilla. That looked awesome. I was watching it and I'm like, how is he going to stop the breath, you know? But then they kind of gave you an idea. Maybe he could deflect it. So that was cool. I love the way they're coloring it, where they're in like downtown Hong Kong or wherever it is. It looks awesome. I think this looks huge. And I was like, man, I want to see this on the big screen, though. I don't want to watch this at home.
Oh, it's so true. You know? So true.
So this is coming March 26th. It's going to be theaters and HBO. So, I mean, I guess I could risk it, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Pass the vaccines out, folks. Let's go.
That's right.
I'm trying to get to the theaters by March, man. Yeah. Let's go, baby.
But it looks cool.
Did you ever see Godzilla?
Yeah, I did. And that's what I was going to say. It looks cool that they're going to try and combine the cast as well. You have some people back from, you know, the original movie and whatnot. But yeah, I really liked Kong Skull Island, and I was waiting for them to see where they were going to go with it. The two Godzilla movies so far have just been okay.
Do they connect, the 2014 Godzilla and the 2019?
Wasn't there the first one was with what's his name, right? Breaking Bad and all that.
Yeah. Does that? Yeah. That was 2014.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the beginning of the, you know, Legendaries Monsterverse or whatever they're calling it.
All right. So then the one 2 years ago, King of the Monsters with Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes.
Which we saw her in this trailer. She's obviously in this one. Spoiler: she doesn't die. Thanks. I didn't see it. But that connects. 14. Those two movies connect into this.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I mean, I knew the recent one, Millie Bobby Brown. I figured that one did. I didn't realize the other one. All right, well, I got two movies.
Yeah, because I want to say David Strathairn was in the original 2014 Godzilla, and he's in this one as well. So yeah, I think, like I said, they're trying to like bring all those movies together. You really can't do that much with, you know, Skull Island because that was like a period piece. But I do like the idea of bringing, you know, staying with this. So this is really like the fourth movie in this franchise, I guess.
Cool. I'm down.
Yeah.
The trailer looked fantastic.
It did.
I'm in.
It did. It looked big, good big budget action. So, but that was it. I think that was it for trailers.
More stuff that we have coming forward will be casting notices, so we might as well jump onto our casting couch.
Welcome to the Take Two Casting Couch. Sit back and get comfortable. Oh yeah.
Kind of slow week, I guess, for casting. I did see a couple things though. Kenneth Branagh has been cast as Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, in a limited series called Spectred Isle. It's going to be 5 parts, and it's going to focus on the pandemic response of Boris Johnson. So,
okie dokie.
I feel like that's being a little generous to Boris Johnson, though. Like, Kenneth Branagh's a decent-looking guy. Boris Johnson's pretty homely. I feel like we should have got, like, Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber, maybe. That's more what I think of when I think of Boris. All right, and then second, I saw Hugh Grant and Josh Hartnett have been cast to star together in the new Guy Ritchie spy thriller, which was formerly known as Five Eyes. Apparently, they're trying to come up with a new title, but they are added to the cast, which already also starred Jason Statham, Carrie Ells, and Aubrey Plaza.
Wow.
So that sounds awesome. I still haven't watched The Gentleman. I need to catch up with The Gentleman.
What are you doing?
I know. Well, and I guess they said Guy Ritchie has another movie coming before this that he worked with Hartnett on. So, like, he's just kind of, you know, ticking off people like, hey, come along, work with me on this. You come along, work with me on this. Then we'll work together again down the road. I like that he has his own little stable of people, you know, because he's worked with Statham a bunch of times, too. So I like that he keeps bringing back his same players.
Cool.
But I think that's all I saw, really, for casting. Some other rumory things like that, but I'll wait and talk about those in the regular news.
Turner and Hooch 12-episode series coming to Disney Plus has cast Matt Hamilton, Paul Campbell and Christina, what was that, Roberto?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. No word on who's been cast as the dog yet. I'm sure Harrison Ford can maybe loan his over to that, but I'm not sure how I feel about the Turner and Hooch. I love that movie so much. I don't know if I want to watch a series on it, but
I'm surprised they didn't try and change it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Try and do something different with the casting or whatever. I don't know. So,
yeah.
We'll see.
True. Maybe the dog is with Christina. Maybe she's playing the lead. Because none of these are, am I sure which one's going to be the actual lead? Which one's going to be Turner?
Gotcha.
Titan Season 3 has cast Commissioner Gordon, but this is Commissioner Barbara Gordon.
Ooh, okay. That's fun. Are you
Savannah
up to date
Welch.
on that?
Yeah, I watched all of season. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Season 2 is better than one.
Okay.
I loved it.
I feel like I didn't finish Season 2 or something. I feel like I started it and never finished it.
And this will be on HBO Max, of course. DC's got all their stuff there. So she's going to be playing Commissioner Gordon, so we're probably getting wheelchaired Barbara Gordon, which means that is she going to be Oracle at the same time?
That could be interesting.
Throwing that in there.
What was her name again? I missed it. I kind of stepped over you.
That's all right. Savannah Welch.
Savannah Welch. Okay, cool. Nice.
Krista Miller joins the cast of HBO's Head of the Class reboot. The main reason I wrote this down, did you know Bill Lawrence was involved in writing on this?
No, but that makes me more intrigued, and that's another thing I need to catch up on is the old Ted Lasso.
I know you're
there.
a fan of him. Yeah, I know you're a fan of his. Showtime's movie First Lady, 3-part anthology-type series movie that they're doing. Viola Davis as Michelle Obama. We've talked about that in the past. They just cast Betty Ford, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, okay. Is this the thing with all the different First Ladies? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's mainly going to focus on Michelle, Betty Ford, and then Eleanor Roosevelt, but we have yet to cast Eleanor. Ooh. And then it's going to then span that whole timeline and talk about a lot of First Ladies. I'm intrigued. I'm in.
It's another rough one.
What's that, Eleanor Roosevelt?
The old Eleanor Roosevelt. She's not the most attractive woman, so.
Whoever's casting that one. What? Margot Robbie's Eleanor Roosevelt, huh?
Yeah, right.
Lastly for me, I didn't save this for last on purpose, but Jim Gaffigan has been cast as Smee in the Disney live-action Peter Pan.
Oh, okay. That's weird, because we were just talking about a couple other people that they were talking about, and that wasn't one of them, I don't think. So.
No.
It's interesting how those rumors pan out.
I like his silliness that he'll probably be able to play. I don't... It's just when I picture Smee, I picture him being like the short, chubby guy. And Captain Hook's so much taller, but I don't. They'll figure that out. That's okay.
Is he gonna be like too dry though? I guess is my.
Yeah, because it's definitely an animated character. Whenever I picture Smee, so that is true as well. We shall see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, cool.
Take another breather, and we'll be right back with the third act of the show.
So true, funny how it seems, always in time, but never in line for dreams. Head over heels, went toe to toe. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound. I wanna take it to the world, but now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? Oh, I want the truth to be said. I know this much is true. I know this.
You mentioned getting memeified and meme culture and all that earlier. If this happened to Bernie Sanders pre-election, would he have won?
Oh man. Who knows? He should have wore the mittens sooner, right?
Could he ever be more popular? And I love that he's owning it too. He's just like buying in, like, have fun, folks, keep it clean.
Well, and didn't he start selling the sweatshirts or whatever? It's like going to charity with sweatshirts with a picture of him. Yep. So that's awesome. Good for him. Yeah, man. I feel like we've reached a tipping point with those where I'm like done with them though. I feel like the best one I saw was the OJ with the mittens, and I was like, okay, I'm done. After that, I don't think anybody can beat that.
Yeah, there was some good. I did enjoy the Ghosts parody with the pottery.
Yes. That's a good one too.
There were some solid ones. There were some really good. We played along a little bit on our socials, just a bit, but there was I was just sitting back and enjoying. Some people have some great ideas. All right, Hollywood news.
In the news.
All right, let me get into some of the stuff I kind of held on to because it was a little more rumory based, not necessarily casting news. Warner Brothers has set a release date for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory prequel movie, and this is going to be March 17th of 2023, directed by Paul King, who did Paddington. I didn't write down like the screenplay information, things like that, but they do have like a story going, all this stuff, and it's rumored at this point, that the frontrunners to be cast are either Tom Holland or Timothée Chalamet.
And this is as a younger Wonka.
Yeah, which I guess we've never seen. Like I know in the Tim Burton one, they show some flashback stuff of like when he's a little kid. Well, no, they even showed a little bit of him like exploring the world and where he found his chocolate and things like that. We'll see, man. I don't know if we need this or not, but I honestly don't like Holland or Chalamet for it though. I'd rather just get somebody new, just or somebody like what's his name from Stranger Things. Finn Wolfhard, like somebody like that, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, actually,
I don't know. I just don't know if we need Holland or Chalamet for this. But
will the Oompa Loompas be in it?
I mean, possibly. Like I said, part of the Burton one, I remember they do a flashback where he kind of meets the Oompa Loompas. So
I'm out.
Well, the way it's done in that movie, they're like a tribe that he finds, like living in the jungle or whatever, So we'll see how they do it. I would rather them go the other way. You already have established materials with Charlie. There were sequels to the book, and we've never adapted those. So why are we coming and writing an original story of a prequel when we have the actual Roald Dahl books out there? Because there's one where Charlie like becomes president or something. Like Charlie goes to the White House. Like, let's see that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Another kind of rumory thing that I didn't want to put in the casting news is that Liam Neeson is apparently being discussed as the lead for a Naked Gun reboot by Seth MacFarlane. I don't
hate the idea of a Naked Gun reboot if you get the right comedian. Liam Neeson doesn't.
Well, I thought that at first too, but he has done some small kind of comedic stuff, and he has worked with what's his name, Seth MacFarlane before. He was in like Ted 2. He was in that million whatever ways to die in the West. He showed up on Family Guy, so he could maybe do some dry humor. I don't know. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it just seems like a very weird, like, okay, what are we doing in Mad Lib's Hollywood casting today? You know what I mean? Like, or did somebody screw up and they were like, yeah, remember that movie Naked Gun? And it was Liam Neeson. No, Leslie Nielsen. Wait a minute. Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen? Yeah, this could work. Like one of those kind of things. Because, I don't know, it's just weird to me.
Sure.
So, because I remember maybe like a decade ago, they were talking about rebooting it. Who was it they were talking about starring? Shoot. It's going to come to me in a minute here. This is great radio.
Yeah.
Ed Helms. They were talking about I remember them talking about Ed Helms doing this, and it was going to be from the guys who do Reno 911. They were trying to do it. So I was like, okay, like, I don't know.
That'd be really owning the over-the-topness.
Yeah, I almost actually do like Liam Neeson better as a choice, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right, some other things. Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders apparently is ending with season 6, but the creator, Stephen Knight, has said he wants to go out with a movie, so maybe after season 6, they'll be able to do a movie to wrap the series. Because I think originally he said he had intentions on doing 7 seasons, and they've had some delays with production due to COVID, that whatnot, so... yeah, now he's looking at that path. Like, let's end the show with 6 seasons and then do a movie to cap it off. I like it.
One of my favorite series of all time. I'm already ready for it to be done so I can re-binge the whole thing. Yeah, they booked 2 seasons. They booked 6 and 7 and then said that 7 was done, as you just mentioned. This is one of those things where you're like, you know what? If you know ahead of time that we're going to wrap it and be done, cool. Now I know you gave me 6 great seasons. You went out with a bang. And then I accept it. You know what I mean? Because so many shows drag. And I was like, oh, that's how it ended. So I'm glad because season 5 was phenomenal, but it is getting to a point like, how much further can we go with these characters?
Sure.
And so if they know that they're just going to give us one more outlandish, crazy season and just have fun, cool. I'm down. Let's do it.
Another one of those shows eventually I will get on. I never did. So it's funny because we work so well as a pair that it's like if I know you are covering something, then I just won't.
It's the nicest thing you ever said to me.
Well, it's true. Like, I won't watch stuff if you, if I know you're watching it. So, all right. Sticking with Netflix kind of stuff, Master of None has been announced as coming back for a season 3. Oh, yeah. So Aziz is getting back to work. There was rumors that they were already filming it in London earlier this year. So whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. But it also got paused because of COVID. But they did officially announce it will be back. Like I said, taking place in London. They also announced Naomi Ackie is joining the cast, which is a huge get for them. She's definitely like on the up-and-comer list, I think. So good for her. Riz Ahmed signs a first-look TV series kind of deal with Amazon. And maybe that's based on the success of Sound of Metal over there. And in the interviews about this, he said he's done. He's done with Venom, obviously because he died in the movie, but he's not going to come back for anything like that. He doesn't want to do. Sorry, spoiler for a shit movie from 3 years ago. And then he also doesn't want to be involved in Star Wars anymore either, which kind of sucks because I was hoping maybe he'd show back up in that Cassian Andor series. Maybe he's just being coy, and maybe he will, but that sucks if he doesn't come back because I would like to see that.
Wowzers.
But yeah, good for Riz. I think he's another one on the up-and-coming swing here, and he deserves a good deal there. I like that. Bridgerton has been all the rage. I know my wife actually watched it on Netflix. They have renewed it for another season. Apparently, it's based on a book series, and each season kind of shifts the focus to new characters. So they're doing that with it, and the next season will kind of focus on a different character or whatever. Has your wife gotten into this, or have you been any interest in watching this at all?
So her and I independently watched episode 1 because I had seen all the hype as you, but then I had mostly seen the hype for the guy to play Bond next.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to go. Yeah, I was going to tell you next. I don't know if you've seen it, but that guy. Yeah. And I'm all for it. I just looked at a picture of him. I'm like, ooh, okay. I'd watch some Bond with him.
Sure. I've only watched one episode. From what I saw, I was like, oh, okay. He can pull it off. He can definitely pull off the suave part of it. And then her and I were like, well, let's see if we can jump on and then watch the rest of it together. She show cheated on me because all of her wives' group friends had already watched it. And I was okay with it. Yeah, I was okay with it. It's fine. It's definitely a fun, it's the Shondaverse, right?
Yeah, see, I didn't realize that when it first started picking up steam, because it's like a period piece.
Oh, and it picks up some steam, baby. Oh, yeah.
Well, but then they have like modern music and things in it, almost like something like Knight's Tale kind of did that, back in the day. So I didn't realize that it was a Shonda thing until after she had watched it. So whatever. All right. I'm glad that there's success there, and it's an exciting new series, and I'm all for this guy being Bond. Let's do it.
Sure.
Let's go to HBO for a little bit of news. Game of Thrones spinoff number 2 is apparently in the works. They had talked about a few of them back in the day, then they canceled a couple of them. Wasn't there the one that they actually like shot a full pilot episode for, and then they were like, nah, we're good. But
that's right.
Supposedly this one is coming called Tales of Dunk and Egg, and this is based on 3 novellas that George R.R. Martin wrote about these characters, and it takes place 90 years before the original Game of Thrones series. So I guess the novellas are popular enough, the characters are popular enough where they think this will be a good series to pick up on.
Stop writing other stuff, George. We're waiting for that last book. Come on. What's wrong with you?
This is one of my favorite pieces of news for the week, so I'm going to end on this before we get to the date changes. But my last piece of real news was Joe Exotic was anticipating his pardon from Trump this week.
That's right.
It was so wonderful to see him order a limo to the prison thinking that he was getting out, and that did not come to fruition. So I'm so sorry, Joe, that you were waiting for that stretch limo and it didn't happen for you, buddy.
Unbelievable.
All right, lastly, the date changes. We kind of talked about Bond a few seconds ago. That moved again. October 8th, you said, 2021.
Yeah.
Morbius has moved all the way to 2022, January of 2022, which I feel like we saw a trailer like last year for that, so that sucks. Ghostbusters, that one really hurts, moved again to November 11th. I'm pretty pissed about that. And then also Quiet Place 2 moving again to September, which, again, I had freaking tickets for that in April of last year. Give me that movie. I'm so mad. I'm so sick of these movies getting moved back. But eventually, folks, we'll get back to the theater and see some of these movies that we were going to see last year. But that's all my news. You have anything else?
Yes, I did. Oh, so Lucy Arnaz defends the casting of Nicole Kidman playing her.
Oh, okay. Good for her.
She jumped on there. Apparently, she's seen some of the stuff that's in. And she's like, no, folks, I think you should just kind of sit back and just see what they're trying to do with this. Kidman's going to do a good job. And we said that. Kidman's a phenomenal actress. It was just hard to picture, what she's going to be doing there. Saved by the Bell, the new show, season 2, is officially going to happen. I think we all figured it was going to, but now they just came out and said it is officially, we are getting that season 2. And then the other thing is all the SNLs. They announced the next 3 SNL hosts.
Oh, okay.
Krasinski is going to be doing this weekend on the 30th with Machine Gun Kelly as your musical guest. Dan Levy is going to be doing February 6th with Phoebe Bridger as your musical.
A big one. Yeah, it's a big one.
And then former Spotlight artist Regina King will be doing February 13th.
Huge. All right. I love it.
With, Nathaniel Rateliff.
Oh, I love him. Good.
So that would be good. 3 good shows. We got some good stuff. For Krasinski, that would be cool. Dan Levy would be cool. And, of course, we love the Regina King.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
On to DC discussion.
And now we discuss DC.
Not much going on for DC this week, right? We saw the full trailer for Superman and Lois. That was interesting. What did you think?
It actually intrigued me a little more. I do want to, I'm just curious where they're going with the kids. What are we doing with these teenage boys? A couple of the scenes, were very Man of Steel-y. Some of him floating in space and the arms extend, we're taking shots from that. So that kind of stuff got me hyped. Seeing Superman in that realm got me hyped. You and I are on record as we've been having trouble buying into Hoagland and, I can't even remember the girl's name, playing Lois Lane in general.
Sure.
So that part's giving me pause. The show itself, the rest of the CW verse I'm kind of going out on. Maybe this will be my final show I kind of get behind,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the trailer did look better, getting a full look at it, and I'm a little more on board. So we'll see. Maybe I will give it a shot. And then lastly, a little bit of rumor coming out is that Batman the Animated Series could be returning for HBO Max.
Yes.
I don't think it would be necessarily picking up where that left off. It would be more of like a sequel kind of series to it.
Okay.
But still, if you get the same creators involved and all that, and same voice work and whatnot, same style of animation, I think that could be a huge success. People love that show.
Yeah, big time. Very cool.
I think that's all I saw for DC. Not a busy week there.
Marvel Minute.
And now, your Marvel Minute.
All right. Lots of Marvel, actually. People have come to paying attention to what's going on at the Australian airport right now because a lot of actors have been arriving in Australia, and one of those is Karen Gillan. Karen Gillan confirming that she's going to be in Thor Love and Thunder. She also posted something on Instagram about her cutting her hair to be able to fit under the bald cap to be able to come back. So there you go. That's confirmed. As well as one Matt Damon arrived in Australia. So now there's rumors that he will be returning for Thor Love and Thunder. Maybe they're going to kind of flesh out his character, or is he just going to be like a silly cameo like he was in Ragnarok? I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe he has something going on in Australia besides that. That one could be very rumory still, but that's what people think, is that he's back for Love and Thunder.
Love Karen Gillan. Big fan. Yeah. I'm happy she's back.
Take this one, as far as rumors go, with a huge chunk of salt. I did see couple different articles about this online, though, that Michael Fassbender might be returning to Marvel, but in a new role as Dr. Doom.
Ooh. Fudge, I love that casting, but that's really weird.
Yeah, I love it as well. I just don't know if he was so iconic as Magneto.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know that wasn't truly Marvel. That was like the Fox Marvel.
Yeah.
But I think I would like that, though. I think he'd be a great Dr. Doom.
Oh, man. Yes, I agree all around. That's just going to be... It's going to be so weird because we're expecting mutants and you need Magneto.
Sure.
And I had a very lengthy convo last night with my brother about... He really feels that WandaVision is going to introduce us to Magneto.
Oh, yeah. WandaVision is definitely... They are doing something special there where they are going to really send us down the path of where they're going for the next couple of years from this show. I think this is huge for them. And speaking of... I saw Kevin Feige actually confirmed there's going to be no Avengers movie for a little while. Like, Phase 4 is going to be completely without an Avengers movie, which is fine because we're already getting these large casts for some of these movies, Sure. If the Spider-Man thing pans out, if Doctor Strange pans out, these couple things where we're getting multiple, crossovers and whatnot. Plus, we're introducing a bunch of new characters with Shang-Chi, Eternals, whatever. So that's fine. You can save Avengers 5 till later on down the road. I'm good with that.
So I think what Kevin Feige is saying, what you want to do as a franchise is to give individual characters their films first before you doing big group ups. of characters maybe you've never even met yet.
Is that a DC dig coming for you? I'm surprised. I love it.
It is.
All right, and then lastly for me from Marvel, I saw casting. Ginger Gonzaga, who I loved on Kidding. She was on Kidding season 1, the Showtime show with Jim Carrey. She's been cast to join She-Hulk, and she will be playing the best friend of Tatiana Maslany's character. So I'm not familiar enough with the source material to know if that means that she's going to become anything big or whatever, or some character in and of herself. I don't know, but she's a good actress, and that's a good casting. Two
rumor things. One is we may see a cameo appearance of Thanos in Eternals.
Ooh, okay.
That's the extent of the rumor I have. I'm curious how we would go down that route. That's very intriguing.
Huh. Yeah.
The other is Paul Bettany came out and said, folks, pump the effing brakes on Chris Evans as having America's ass. Because apparently, according to Paul Bettany, Anthony Mackie's caboose has a little more junk in there. And his should be revered as America's ass.
Wow, okay. All right.
So maybe Winter Soldier or Falcon and, in that series, we will finally confirm
who has America's ass.
Chris Evans or Anthony Mackie.
I will
according
say,
to Paul Bettany.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that was my sentence. According to Paul Bettany,
he's the better ass.
Should be Anthony Mackie. Yes.
Crazy thing I saw this week, I forgot I was going to mention this. Paul Bettany is the first actor to be in 3 different decades of Marvel.
Yeah, I saw that as well. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome because he was in the original Iron Man as the voice of Jarvis or whatever, so 2008. And then all last decade, Vision and Jarvis still, and then now we're in the 2020s, and he, so that's cool. Because I was like, wait a minute, what about Tony Stark? But then that ended in 2019. I forgot.
Yeah, and hopefully he doesn't. So the only other one that could do it would be Happy.
Yeah, Favreau.
John Favreau.
That's what I was thinking. Yep.
Yeah. Or I guess we're Pepper Potts. Right?
Well, and see, the cool thing with Favreau is he'd actually be doing the same character in 3 different decades too. So
yeah, that'd be wild. All right, time to finish up the show here. Let's go forward.
Going forward.
Okay, first I wanted to mention something before I got into the actual going forward of what's coming to your screens to watch. Don't forget, folks, this weekend is the Uncanny Nerd 24-hour stream fundraiser that they're doing for the IIB Foundation. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correct or not, but it's a breast cancer foundation locally here in Northern Virginia. Co-host of Meanwhile, the podcast, Rodney Roberts, actually just announced recently that his wife is dealing with breast cancer. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them, and we're hoping that, I know this foundation in particular is personal to them, so hopefully people can reach out and help them. That would be nice. But it starts on Friday, 8 o'clock. Greg Grunberg is kicking it off with the opening ceremony, so that's a big name to get involved there. And then it goes, all through the rest of Friday into Saturday, and they're going to have Ming Chen on there. They're going to have some other panels with creators of different comics, things like that. I think also I saw Loading Snacks are going to be involved. They're doing a DC animated kind of top 10 that they're going to be involved with it.
Good.
Our buddy Kevin Besnars from the old All-Star Comic-Con is going to be on there doing a live art presentation. So a lot of fun stuff. Go out and check them out this Friday and Saturday. Hopefully you guys can participate in that this weekend and help them out if you can. Should be a lot of fun. Going forward, though, a lot of big new releases. Let me talk about the theater this week. There's a couple things coming to the theater. Supernova on January 29th. A certain actor in there may be getting a spotlight treatment soon, so check that movie out if you can. As well as Saint Maud. Saint Maud was one of those movies that was supposed to come out in the spring last year. I was super pumped for to come out, and it got bumped. But now apparently they're finally releasing it, so I can't wait. January 26th, Wrong Turn, which is like the new, it's not really even a sequel. It's almost like a reboot, I'm guessing, of the original Wrong Turn from the early 2000s. So that's coming out. If you're into the horror movies, we're getting a reboot of that. Otherwise, on the streaming sites, we're going to get The Dig on Netflix. This is the one with, isn't it Carey Mulligan is in this, right?
That sounds accurate.
I think we saw the trailer a few weeks back. Looks okay. I don't think it's going to be like a super Oscar player or anything like that, but
and Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah. So we may have to check that out, as well as Palmer coming to Apple, which is the new Justin Timberlake movie. We are both excited about that one. Little Things is coming to HBO. That's the one I really can't wait to watch this week with Denzel, Jared Leto, Rami Malek. So those are a couple things we're going to have for reviews next week for sure, as well as the Grammys are this weekend, January 31st. I believe that's Sunday. So if you're into the Grammys, that's going to be on. And there's a new series coming to Netflix that I don't remember us talking about at all or whatever, but I fell upon the trailer for it. It's called We Are the Brooklyn Saints. Did you see the trailer for this?
No, not at all.
Looks cool, man. I might have to give it some time this weekend. It's a mini-series documentary produced by Ron Howard, and it focuses on this Little League football kind of team in Brooklyn.
Cool.
And they're kind of trying to get to the championship game in Florida, whatever. It looked cool. It looked like, I think it's like 4 episodes, so may have to check that out, as well as a new documentary series on HBO called Lady and the Dale, which I didn't know anything about, so I wanted to look that up and see what's going on there. Premieres this weekend. It's the story of Elizabeth Carmichael, who released a fuel-efficient vehicle during the 70s gas crisis, and kind of her surprising rise, through car technology and things like that. She was kind of like one of the first ones to do that. So, I don't know. Looks interesting, so I'm going to have to check all those out, I think. A lot of stuff to talk about next week.
Very groovy, very nice. As far as Take Two podcast wise, guys, we have, Thursday that poll comes out. Friday, if you're a Patreon member, you're getting a brand new Patreon episode. Should be coming out this Friday. Saturday, look for your superhero secret cinema. Jump on both the poll and the cinema and give us your answers and your votes. We would love to talk to all of you guys. And then Sunday, you get a brand new Realm, and congrats to Roy from the Realm for selling his soul to get Tom Brady to get his team to the Super Bowl. Congrats because his team made the Super Bowl.
The first home team to play in the Super Bowl. That's crazy, right?
It's so cool. That part's cool. Sucks for them that they won't have, they won't be able to fill it with, Bucs fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like I said before, though, they are doing the thing with like first responders, nurses, things like that. That's kind of fun. Actually, my dad said he got tickets to the NFL Experience thing. So, because he lives down in that area. So he's like, this might be the closest I ever get to, being at a Super Bowl or being involved with a Super Bowl. So he's going to go try and check it out.
There you go. Rory, when you're down there for the Super Bowl, hit up Tony's dad. See if you guys can. Would that be a wild picture if one of them sent you a picture of them just hanging out?
That would be. I'd love it. Roy or Troy, whoever you are, reach out and let us know if you see my dad.
For episode 224. Have a great night, everybody.
See you.